First we have to get the mast out over the stern, and then get the foot of the mast anchored to the deck with the first hinge pin. Of course, the boom, the stays, everything needs to get moved aft. And things have a tendency to get tangled, so it really is helpful to have a couple of people kind of watching everything as you move the mast back. Now we're setting the pin at the foot of the mast. Now we're threading a line around the mast above the spreaders, and then taking those two bitter ends and putting them through a ring that snaps into the end of the spinnaker pole. And then we'll hitch the other end of the spinnaker pole to the normal place it mounts on the front of the mast. And then hold tension on that line and have someone hold the spinnaker pole upright while we get tension. temporarily fastening that bridle line to the bow. And then I'm going to go down and hook up a bridle from 2 cleats on the dock, and then transfer the line to that bridle, the bridle that's hooked onto the dock. Now we're going to tighten up the main sheet. It's going from the bridle to the line that goes around through the spinnaker pole and around the spreaders. And that's going to leverage the mast right up. Now there's a few more things to untangle before we raise the mast the rest of the way. And in just a minute here, our fellow marina friend Jay is going to come over to just lend an extra hand. We also need to tighten up the jib uphaul downhaul. One of them's stationary, and then the port side will, once we get the mast up a certain way, a little bit of the way, then that port side jib line, we're going to tighten that up, and it'll just bring the mast up the rest of the way. We're laughing about things literally going sideways. Jay's going to make sure the split backstay doesn't get hung up on anything in the back, and the side stays for that matter. We've got fishing rod holders mounted on the stern rail, and they have a tendency to just catch up on everything.
You don't have to unlatch it, all you have to do
We used to need 2 or 3 of us lifting up on the mast, and then someone taking up on the jib sheet. And this is just way easier. Now that poor jib line is going to work its magic. So there you have it, the successful transformation of a stink potter into a rag hauler.
Yep.
Now we'll spend about an hour just untangling lines, rethreading lines, getting them on the right side of the spreader. You just can't even believe it. I mean, there's the purpose of all the lines is to basically control all the sail surfaces and tensions, and it's a quagmire, and so it all has to be kind of exactly right. A sailboat's sort of like an analog computer, harnessing both the wind and the water, the tide, current, wind, all of it. Forces working against each other, balancing, to get her moving through the water.